Sometimes it's not the item that you're buying that carries the value, but what it represents. Hey, it's Don. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what you're looking for and things that many people don't realize when searching out in the real world. A lot of items that we hunt down or sell may not be sold because of the item itself, like a specific piece of paper, a card, a book, or something. It may be what's tied to it. Many categories, such as collectibles and animals, carries a huge amount of value. Those are big, huge categories that cover pretty much any range of animal that you may find out there. A good example is a frog card or a frog postcard or a frog figure or a frog shirt, a frog throw. There's a ton of people that just collect frogs. There's people that have frogs as pets. They raise them, they breed them. There's a ton of collectors in that category. Another great one would be like a pug dog. There are a ton of people that look for specific things with just pug dogs on them. We hunt down all of that sort of stuff. If it has a specific breed, for example, with a dog, or it's a specific type of horse, again, it doesn't have to be a specific animal. We're just talking about a broad range of animals in general. Now, another good example is like this possum here. This is a plush possum. Now, the brand that made this is junk. They don't have any big standard in plushes. They don't go for a ton of money, the brand name itself. But those sell for 20 or 30 bucks just because of the animal that it is, a possum. Now, if that was something else like a cat or something, no one wants a cat plush from this brand. They would buy a name brand one unless it's extremely adorable. But this one is realistic. This one is going to be bought by someone who collects or has a pet possum, which is a thing, believe it or not. You can look up here on YouTube and you'll find all sorts of things like that. Another one that we deal in is owls. Anything vintage owls sells for us, especially if it's a nice vintage night scene. We just sold a card for $45 because it had two owls on it. It's a Christmas card from about 1890. I'll probably show it out in my next What's Sold on eBay video. Sold one last week just like it, or very similar, for in that same price range, $48 or $50, just because it has an owl on it. That is literally all it's sold for. Now, I don't really care what the item specifically is. If I'm out in the real world and I run into a throw with a really adorable frog on it or something, and it's not a name brand, it's a junk brand, I will still look it up, obviously. And if I can't find a price on it, I'll take a chance on something like that for $1 or $2. Most of the time, as long as those items are in good condition, they will sell for some decent money in the collectibles animal section under amphibians or frogs. Excellent place to sell stuff like that. Far too many people avoid or don't think to list things in that specific category. But that category is huge. It's a monstrous category. You would be surprised how many listings are there for just one type of specific animal. Again, frogs is a huge area. Owls, dogs specifically, mice, rats even. People have pet rats. There are a ton of things. Now, don't just buy anything with some animal on it. That's not how it works. You have to buy something that's cute or very well rendered, something that's unique. A big plush frog pillow, for example, something we've had before. They sell extremely quickly, very quickly, especially around Christmas. NOS, new old stock, are usually the best, but I don't really care when it comes to stuff like that. Vintage items, for example, sell extremely well. We had some pottery pieces that had a frog kind of sitting around the edge of a rim of a pottery glass. Sold immediately for like $95. Nothing special. There was a bunch of other ones from the same company that didn't sell, but this one sold because somebody wanted the frog. They didn't care who made it or what was going on with it or whether there was value to it by the maker's name. They only wanted it based on the frog on it. That's a key factor. Now, it doesn't just have to be animals, of course. Plants. There are people that buy everything that we sell that has lily of the valleys on them. They go for extremely good money most of the time. Violets are another example. Those sell extremely well. Roses, there's so many of them, it's a different case, but some certain items like that sell extremely well. It's just a given for us. I don't really care what it's printed on or what it is. Even a print ad or something with a specific animal or something like that sells very well. Theme or topical would be more along the lines of this sort of item. Like in stamp categories, there's topical that covers specific topics on the stamps. It's the same basic principle with this. If you're not familiar with that or that term, you may look up. You're not going to find topical listed for like a possum or something like that. That's just the term used in certain categories, but it equates to the same basic principle on why specific animals or something along that line will sell. Again, plants, animals, any of that kind of stuff sells for us if you've got the right one. There's people who just collect orchids and anything with an orchid on it. There's people that collect everything that a certain company made. Raphael Tuck's a perfect example. Now, we have 3 people specifically that just buy Raphael Tuck printed items. Anything by them. Doesn't matter if it's a postcard, a trade card, an ad, magazine clipping, a figural piece, or anything like that. If it has Raphael Tuck on it, chances are one of those 3 people will buy it if I list it, and it goes very quickly. It has nothing to do with the item. There's people that just collect specific record labels. There's a smaller record label that just has a D on it. It's mostly country western. There's some bluegrass on that label as well. There's also some rockabilly, early rockabilly on that label. There are people out there that want every single disc that that company pressed. It's a collectible field that people get into. It might be from their hometown. Their father worked at the plant. There's so many reasons why people buy something specific, and it's not always tied to who, what, where, why, or when. It has nothing to do with it in many cases. The possum case here is a perfect example. If I found a pin with a possum on it, a t-shirt with something cute, possum on it wise too, I could sell that. A baseball cap, a belt, a pair of pants with artwork on it of a possum. All of that sort of thing, something unique, something you just won't run into every day. Those sorts of things are what I source out more so than not. Again, specifics are great. It doesn't have to be, though, a specific item. It's the imagery that it's portraying, the item that it's portraying, the animal, the thing, the uniqueness, whatever it's portraying, that may be why it's worth something and why you should be sourcing it, not because it's something specific. Just like in other categories like movie tie-ins, TV tie-ins, and things like that, like a lunchbox or a trading card from Star Wars or something like that. It's all tied to that thing. It may not matter what that thing is. It may not matter that it's a lunchbox. It may not matter that it's a trading card. It may matter, though, that it's Star Wars. That is the only deciding factor. And that same philosophy, the same thoughts, carry straight over into animals and that whole field there. If you've never looked at the animals section under collectibles, I highly recommend anybody watching this video do that right away and get a census on what stuff sells for. Now look at live current listings to start with, and then look at some of the ended, the sold listings for specific animals. You will be surprised at stuff that sells for a ton of money that if it wasn't showing a specific animal wouldn't have went for but a couple dollars in most cases on things like that. We have sold some crazy cheap items for a lot of money just because it was a good rendition of a specific animal, a specific plant, or something along that line. There is far more to sourcing than just taking a specific list and finding this item, this item, this item, and this item. There are just so many other things you can sell, so many other ideas, so many other niches. An animal can be a niche. Many people don't think of it that way. Usually if it's an otter item or a specific breed or something like a dog, those can go for more money. We've had some oddball items for a specific oddball breed of dog. I didn't sell it. I didn't know what kind of breed it was. Somebody sent me a message through eBay and said, hey, that's a such and such dog. If you put that in the title, you'll probably sell it for a lot more than you have it listed. I went in and changed the title, added that word in after I verified through a Chrome search that, yeah, that's what that dog was. I raised the price 3 times. It sold at the full raised price like in 2 days. It was phenomenal. And it was all because I had the right type of dog listed in that listing. Just putting dog on a mug may mean nothing. But if you put the specific, the very type of dog, the breed of dog that is, it can sell specifically just because of that. Far too many people miss that feature across the board on all sorts of things. If you know the popular dogs, the items that are scarcer in certain areas, you can pick out the diamond in the rough just because, say, it has a frog on it or a pug dog or something like that. It goes for any type of thing. Birds are great. We saw a lot of items because it's a parrot, a macaw, or something like that on it as well. It doesn't even matter the type of item. Anything vintage with a specific type of animal, people will buy, especially if it's frameable and they're lifelong pet lovers of that specific animal. Animals are great. It's a huge area that most people just don't pay attention to. But that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Let's go, Sue. Time for a Cheerios breakfast, kids. Yeah, Cheerios is a powerful part of this balanced breakfast.
You got go with Cheerios, Energy-O's that help you grow. You got go power with power. Coming on strong with Cheerios. You'll feel your Cheerios.
A Cheerios breakfast.